So he's going to be playing in winner's quarters, top 16. Winner makes it to top 8. Of course, same stakes as the last set, up against Orex, the man who made second at Ultimatum and consistently has placed very well at the ultimate shockwaves that he's been able to come out to.
And let's also, I mean, take note, if you want to know what kind of player Orex is, I mean, this guy was continuously a thorn in the side of every top player here back in Smash 4. That includes Lima, that includes Austin, that includes Dakpo. This guy, I mean, he ended up being, I think, number 4 on our final PR.
Right, consistently trading sets and doing well against the upper level, top players that you'd expect to win the tournaments. He's won a few himself of classic Smash 4 shockwaves, not ultimate shockwaves, of course. The only winners of those events have been Austin and Trella.
Yeah.
So, Orex, though, however, was known as the perpetual gatekeeper in Smash 4 of anyone below him on the PR. Nobody that was not known to take tournaments could take sets off of Orex because he has such a consistent defensive game plan. He is so good at playing patient from behind, from ahead, it doesn't matter. He's going to sit back, play his zone properly, and bait out your options, set up his spacing very nicely.
Yeah, and of course, it's important to note for anybody who doesn't tune into these streams regularly that Tibs is he's normally the kind of player that is gate-kept, and it's a huge surprise to see him 2-0 our undisputed #1 tonight. But going up against Orex, man, he's got the Pac-Man. It's a difficult character to play against because not a lot of people know about them, but Orex knows that if you jump above Palutena, you die sub 80.
Absolutely. You don't need to know the matchup to know that that's a bad place to be. But you do need to know to interact in neutral around that hydrant, and a couple of times Orex now has not been aware of the angle that Tibs has been going for.
Boy, and speaking of angles, Tibs knows every single angle that hydrant gets set at.
I think the reason that we're seeing the Palutena Orex, normally a Peach main, by the way, that we're seeing the Palutena in this matchup is because the reflector being available as well as the freer movement on the ground and in the air, not quite so reliant on float and the floaty space. More free aerial pressure in front of her with that bear, the back air, no matter where she's at.
Just lots of great aerials.
A lot of ways to deal with the flying projectiles, as opposed to where Peach would feel more pinned down by the fact that there's so much on the screen that she can't abuse her movement, which is normally so good.
Right, and you're saying, Palutena has all these ways to deal with the projectiles, and of course the first one that comes to mind is the counter, or counter/reflector, which did come out there. So I'm starting to wonder, Neighbor, I mean, what do you think is going through his head that's keeping him from pulling that out?
It's a very timing-based move. In this game, it's not like it was in Smash 4 where you just toss out the reflector and kind of say, hey, you can't play the game for a couple of seconds. It is tied to the counter, like you were saying. You do have to react properly. But again, being right above Palutena, that puts you in a bad spot.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Tibs may be going into this not with the game plan that he has tailored specifically for Palutena. The matchup knowledge may be a little bit of a problem for him, because what I'm seeing from him is just sort of enacting a game plan that he has in mind. And that game plan that he has in mind involves him safely going above his opponent. But we've been saying, you can't do that against Palutena. She will kill you for sure.
Right, normally it's pretty difficult for some characters to challenge the hydrant, but that up air has no problem eating through it.
Palutena apparently not having any problem eating through that hydrant so far. See if he takes advantage of it once again here. Doing a really good job of keeping stage control against Pac-Man, which is, of course, just so crucial.
Watching out for that narrow shield. Good. Pac-Man's narrow shield is really fast, really good at breaking combos. That Nair is just a very potent tool that you want to be aware of the spacing of and know to not overextend. The key, of course, breaking through the hydrant, knocking Orex back again. Too focused on himself, tossing out the auto reticle.
I love that from Orex, approaching the hydrant, acting like he was going to hit it, which of course would allow for Tibs to hit it back. And great patience from both players. Now, I think Tibs getting a little bit impatient to try to get something done against Orex because he is down more than 2 full stocks.
Okay, expected a little bit of a runoff Nair there, but not wanting to challenge the trampoline. Lands on stage. That could be a key. Not timed properly, though. I don't know if he did have the timing, but he did have the timing for the down smash to catch Orex roll on stage.
Yeah, you want to talk about time. There is a lot of time where it takes for that forward tilt to come back into Palutena's hands. A lot of end lag, man.
Watch out, that's punishable.
Oh my gosh, that move is so good in this game.
Up air, though, again, taking the 3rd stock for Orex. catching Tibs jumping into the air.
Yeah, I was going to say, man.
Half the work for Orex. He didn't even have to set up off of a throw or knock him into the air off of a grounded move. Instead, he is just chasing Tibs out of the sky, where normally Pac-Man are very, very happy to be at. They can spend a lot of time there because they can jump out of their charge now. So a lot of Pac-Man will charge their bonus fruit. Jump.
Makes you float upward as well if you do
jump and charge the bonus fruit, get a little extra height, jump out of that, toss a hydrant down. They'll stay there for a while, right? Make a little bit of a home up there, and punish opponents for aggressively pressing buttons too early without the height.
But you want to talk about punishing an opponent for pressing a button, namely the jump button. Orex and his Palutena have been doing an excellent job of doing that to Tibs so far.
And one of the big reasons that Palutena has been able to do that so well is because of how high her jump is naturally, just a little bit shorter than Falco's.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Palutena has naturally one of the highest jumps, or double jumps at the very least, in the game. Look at how high she's able to reach so
you're not
quickly.
kidding. I never noticed that until now. Oh boy, I mean, Orex certainly knew that because he has been doing quite a good job of chasing down Tibs, but of course, been discerning overall, I think. I think that was one of the first times we've seen him like seriously approach the fire hydrant when Tibs had the ability to hit it back. So, I mean, man, all of a sudden, Battlefield, it looks like Orex is getting more aggressive, so I'm wondering what you're thinking. I mean, is that a stage thing, or is that just a Game 2 thing?
I think the fact that there is so little room between them comparative to Pokemon Stadium 2, one of the much longer stages, he kind of does have to press buttons a little bit more quickly. That armored through the entire explosive flame. What an interesting interaction.
Boy, Pac-Man recovers for years. Not just for days, not just for weeks or months.
If you're sending him off the stage and you're not getting a definitive killing blow, he is going to return.
Wow. Good use of the key.
Yeah, not only eating the hitbox of the hydrant, but also flying past to take a stock, or I'm sorry, to try to take a stock on the stage. Instead, Orex is the first one to be able to take it, though. Sitting at 135, that is definitely a kill percent if Pac-Man is able to find one of his significant hits, find a smash attack that he's able to set up maybe with the bell. Now his aerials are a lot stronger than they ever were in Smash 4. That back air never would have been close to killing.
No.
Down throw, interesting.
Oh, okay.
Definitely trying to set up for that with the angle of the down throw. Sends that forward tilt, almost doing it even.
Look, neighbor, I've got to say, one of the big differences I'm noticing between these two players is that, a nice kill right there, but what Orex is doing right wouldn't have saved him there. Orex's DI has been incredible in this game. And Tibs has not had the best DI. We saw him die earlier to something where I was like, oh, he probably should have lived that.
Yeah, Orex's incredible DI has made him survive these moves that, of course, a lot stronger than they've ever been in Smash 4, trying to alleviate the problem that Pac-Man had of being able to rack up damage but not being able to get that kill without an infinite amount of wacky setups.
Which, of course, near the end of the game, we did start seeing because people were like, look, this game is so, like, something interesting. Something interesting indeed.
Catching the forward smash because the hydrant was able to push him back into the range on the platform against the bell is a terrifying prospect. Got stopped by the hydrant, so he still was able to fall in that forward smash. It's even stocks, even percents. Orex the one getting something started early on, though. What can Tibs answer with?
I think if Tibs just gets in Orex's face, weirdly, that has been working out for him a whole lot.
Pac-Man has a lot better aggressive buttons than he's ever had in this game. Forward air is actually a really good tool. Spaceman Spiff now told me that feels almost like chic forward air from Smash 4.
It's actually that good.
Chains it across the stage, feels very safe on shield. It's a really, really solid tool.
Neighbor, you want to know the crazy thing? That move got buffed too.
Absolutely, in the patch.
Yeah. All right, well, Tibs in a sticky situation now. Stuck on the ledge, is going to use some creative power pellet strats to get back on, but
Spot Dodge is afraid of the grab from Palutena, but the dash attack covers all of that timing.
Ooh, Tibs is getting desperate. I mean, not that you can blame him.
I don't know if I would say desperate as much as I would say very antsy, for sure.
Yes.
Definitely picking his options a little bit quicker than he has been previously, though. There, drops the hydrant, gets a forward smash, really good damage, pulling Orex closer to these percents where he could absolutely even up this game, take this game, and move on to a game 3.
I love that Orex did not even bother approaching the fire hydrant until the very last second.
Stay far away, waits for the forward smash to come out, counter pokes with a forward air.
That makes me so nervous, even though I know that Pac-Man can recover from literally anywhere.
Back here, catching again. Tibs retreating to the top platform, trying to cover that zone with the dropped hydrant. But again, the anti-airs, or air-to-air situations in general, not so much anti-airs because he's not really catching Tibs going down with aerials, but air-to-air situations where he's catching and chasing Tibs out of the sky, Palutena absolutely prevails.
That's one of the things that a lot of people have been getting a little bit too comfortable with this. Start that over. That's one of the things that people have been getting a little bit too comfortable with in this game is taking to the air, because aerials feel very good, and I think mostly across the board they just feel a lot faster.